Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title, today I am finally going to be playing with the one and only Beauty Bay Bright Mattes palette. And when I say finally, this is probably the 4th or 5th attempt that I've had at filming. Not out of any issues with the palette itself, I've just had zero inspiration and every look has just been like... So yeah, I finally picked up the Beauty Bay Bright Mattes palette. Did I need another rainbow palette? No, absolutely not. But the ones that I have are discontinued. So if I want to make a video using a rainbow palette, I'm then using a palette that you guys can't get. So I decided that I would buy a new one that was still available, and I was hesitating between this one and the Carnival palette. And this one was 50% off. 50. Beauty Bay's products are extremely affordable. They're normally pretty damn good value for money. And this palette normally retails for just under £24 for 42 shades, and I got it half price. So I didn't even pay £12 for it, which is just insane. Today's video is not going to be a detailed review of the palette because it's been out for a couple of years at this point. There's been 1,000,001 reviews already, but I will still insert a screenshot of my spreadsheet so that you can see how it compares to other palettes just in terms of value for money. And then this is the inside if you haven't seen it already. This does come in two versions. This one, which is 42 matte shades. There's no shimmers in this one. And then there is another one that does come with shimmers. I asked on Instagram which one people thought I should go for, and a couple of people did say that they weren't the biggest fan of the shimmers in the £42 palette. So all the recommendations were pushing me towards getting this one instead, so that is exactly what I did. As you can see, we have a really good spectrum of colours in here. We have pretty much everything that we need. We have some nudes at the top. We even have a white and a black. I haven't tested the white yet, but I'm pretty excited because I don't have a staple white in my collection, so I'm looking forward to trying it. And then, yeah, you just have a rainbow of colours. It's pretty much, again, everything that you need. So this is the look that I'm going to be doing today. As I said, I did struggle just a little bit with inspiration, but I got there in the end. And we are going to be doing this cut crease from start to finish. I really wanted to take you through all the steps. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing how I got this look using the Beauty Bay Bright Mattes palette, then just keep watching. Guys, I really thought this hair would be really, really cute, but I'm looking at itself in the monitor and all you can see is my forehead, so I'm sorry, you're gonna be seeing a lot of forehead today, I'm afraid. Anyway, I have, as always, stuck my brows down with my Pink Honey Original Super Hold, but I haven't primed just yet. I thought we'd do that together for a change. We don't do that very often. I am, as always, gonna take my P. Louise base in the shade 0.5. You can see that this one has been well loved. I think I have another tube. I'm pretty sure I do, but I should probably check at this point because I'm really running low. The brush that I like to use is a Pro Arte Masterstroke Series 61 brush. I use size 8. It is starting to struggle a little bit though. It's not quite super precise anymore, so I do need to order some more at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And I'm just gonna use that to start carving out my brow. And then once I'm happy with that, I just take more of the P. Louise base on a rounded concealer brush to finish priming the eye. But because we're doing a full cut crease today, there's no point me priming the eyelid as well, because I'm just gonna come and remove that anyway. So I'm literally just gonna stop at my crease. And then I'm just gonna make sure that I bring it up high enough on this side. Normally I forget to. So just going all the way up and around so that I can definitely bring my colours out here. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into my first colour, which is going to be Slice of Lime. And I'm going to take that right at the front. And this is going to be about 1/4 of my blend. Back on a little bit more. And I'm not going to bring it down too much into the outer corner. I want to try having it a bit more straight because I think it's just a slightly more flattering shape for me and it just photographs a bit better. Then next to that one, for the next portion, I'm taking another flat brush, and this shade is called Pacific Dreams. So this is going to take me halfway. Then I'm going to go back into my first shade slightly, just a little bit more, just to blend those two shades out. Then next up, you guessed it, it's another flat brush, and this shade is called Purple Power. Back into some more of Pacific Dreams. I have to say these shades do blend out really well, really easily together. And the purples are absolutely stunning, especially considering that people always say, you know, oh, purples are notoriously hard to formulate. I feel like we're kind of past that. Like, I feel like all purples nowadays are just like, just so on point. And then finally, this time it's a Morphe M124. The shade is called Make Them Wink, and we're gonna bring that outwards and upwards. And I think we can definitely expect some staining with this one. It is a very pretty shade of hot pink. And again, back into the previous shade. They are creating a lovely gradient. Look at that, they blend in so well together and so effortlessly. So effortlessly even. I'm just that impressed apparently that I've forgotten how to speak. So one thing I will say about this palette is that I do think it's a little bit lacking maybe in slightly lighter colours. I do feel like there are a couple of shades here and there that I think we didn't need both of these and instead we could have a lighter shade. Let's face it, they're a business. There's probably a business reason behind doing that, and that business reason probably is that, you know, there's a separate pastels palette. I'm going to take a Sigma E36 and I'm going to go into Serenity, and I'm just going to use that really slowly to blend out the front of the eye. I don't know if this is necessarily the best brush to be using with this palette because they are pastel shades. They are not as pigmented as normal eyeshadows, and this brush doesn't pick up as much product, but I really want to be careful here. I really don't want it going too high or anything because, you know, there's not a lot of space left on my brow bone right now. So yeah, just very, very slowly blending. And it seems to be blending out that first shade pretty well actually, no complaints there. Then next to that I'm going to take Paradise on a clean Sigma E36, and again I'm just going to blend out the first shade. That seems to be picking up really well and also blending out really well. Look at that. I'm just going to do what I did with my first few colours, so I'm going to go back into the previous one, which was Serenity, really making sure to blend in between the two shades, and then back into Paradise. For my next one, I think I'm going to have to go back into the pastel palette because even though we have like a lighter purple, it is not as bright. So I think that's going to be the best thing to do. So I'm going to be taking the shade Daydream here on a Morphe M506. And same again, I'm just really slowly going to blend. And I feel like this could be the shade where we get blending issues because it is like super intense and pigmented. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm struggling ever so slightly. I'm just going to pop some more on for now. I think there's just a bit too much contrast in between that pastel purple and the shade that I've got on underneath. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to blend out the pink first and then I'm going to come back to that. So that is going to be the shade Tutu from the Brights Mattes, and that's on a Morphe M456. That one seems to be doing absolutely fine in terms of blending. I'm just kind of pulling it out back towards the temple and making sure it's nicely blurred out and that it just comes out into a point. Right, so going back to those purples, I am going to take that Living for Lavender on a clean Sigma E36. I'm going to try to blend out a bit more. Maybe this is what I should have done first. Okay, I'm still getting a line, but I feel like it's just a bit better. And then I'm just going to go back into Daydream from the Pastels palette just to make sure that blend is finished off. And then back into Paradise as well, just to blend in between the shades. And then I'm just going to go back into a bit more of Tutu at the end. I think I'm also just going to pick up a tiny bit of First Light with my first Sigma E36, which is the yellow from the Pastels palette. I can't remember if I said that. Just to bring a little bit more brightness here in the inner portion. Okay, great. So now that I've got my brow bone shades in place, I'm going to cut my crease. So I'm just going to take the same brush that I used to carve out my brow earlier. I've got a little bit of P. Louise base on there. And with my eye open, I'm going to trace out where my cut crease needs to sit. And that's going to go all the way to the back. And then I'm just gonna neaten that line up, make sure it is nice and precise. I'm gonna pat it out, get rid of the excess product, and then just on a smaller brush, I'm gonna come in with some micellar water, clean off that whole area, going all the way up to the edge of that base. I'm just gonna pat the area dry with some tissue, make sure there's no micellar water left. And then I'm gonna use my Micro Beauty Cosmetics eyeshadow primer to fill in the cut crease. You don't have to use this particular one because it's quite expensive, but I just prefer using a pot primer for this stage. And then I just want to set that with a nude shade, so I'm going to take Nothing Else from the palette. I'm just patting that into the whole of the cut crease area. Don't worry if you have a little bit of a gap like I do, I'm going to be adding a liner detail later on. Okay, so I'm now just going to do the other eye off camera really quickly, and then I'll come back and we'll start adding on the details. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and popped on half a shadow shield on each eye, just because I'm going to do some liner and I want to make sure that I get the nice angle and get it really sharp. And I'm going to jump into my Inglot gel liner, just on a liner brush. And I'm going to be adding a very thick wing here. And it's going to go all the way in. Okay, I've just taken that off. You know what, that hasn't really helped with neatness as much as I would have liked it to. And then I'm just going to come in over the top of the liner with my Peaches and Cream pigment in Mermaids. Just going to take it on a small angled brush. And you can see the liner is wet enough that it will just stick to it without having to add any glue. I'm just going to switch over to a much smaller brush to get right into the end of that. Okay, so now that I've got that pigment on the liner, I feel like the brow is somewhat lacking, so I'm going to be adding some leopard print details, and the easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is a pen. So I'm using my Ofra Verified Liquid Liner. It's nice and small and precise, and leopard print really doesn't have to be difficult. You just kind of trace little shapes like this. I'm starting to feel like this liquid liner might be running out of ink. Let me give it a good shake. I do store it upside down, so I'm not too sure why this is happening. Okay, there we go. Seems to be getting there. Not really. That's quite annoying. I'm going to switch to my sheen liner instead. I'm going to take the black shade. It's just called Jade. I'm going to take that on a small liner brush. Let's try again. Okay, there we go. The good thing about doing a leopard print like this, it really doesn't have to be too precise. And then on a clean liner brush, this time I'm going to take the shade Ice Cream, still from Sheen Cosmetics. And I'm going to use that to line the cut crease. And then I just want to use that same shade on the inner corner. So what I've just done is popped some from the liner brush onto the back of my hand. And then I'm going in with a Zoeva 231 and just dabbing off the excess, but it does dry pretty quickly. So I'm going to have to work in layers. I don't think I would do this again. I just want to have the perfect matching colour, but it's a lot of effort, I feel. Although I feel like I'm getting there. Over the top of that, I'm just going to take the Shrine Cosmetics pigment in Iridescent White. I'm just going to pop it on top of the green. And I am covered in fallout. Let me get rid of all of that fallout. Alright, so I'm going to leave the eyes here for now and move on to the rest of the face. I'm just going to speed through the foundation part just because that's always the same thing and this video is probably long enough as it is already. And then that way we can move on to finishing off the eye look. So I'm just going to start by priming my face using the e.l.f. Mint Melt Primer. And then I'm going to go over the oily areas of my face with the Smashbox Photo Finish Oil and Shine Control Primer. My foundation is going to be the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Snow. I'm going to spot conceal using the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite in the shade C5. Then I'm going to do my highlighting and my under eyes with the Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer in the shade Snow. Then for blush, I'm going to use the Barry M Fresh Face Cheek and Lip Tint in the shade Peach Glow. I'm going to make sure I get rid of any creases on my under eye, and then I'm going to use the Revolution Eye Bright Setting Powder. I'm going to set the rest of my face with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light. Then my bronzer is going to be the Revolution Pro Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Bayer. And then I'm going to contour with the I Heart Revolution Chocolate Contour Palette in Fair. Alright, so let's finish off the eyes now, and I'm just going to start off with a black eyeliner. I'm going to take the one from Wet n Wild, the Breakup Proof eyeliner, just because it's the one that I quite like at the moment. I'm going to pop that in the waterline, going all the way. Oh no, my eyes, I've decided to water. Let's do the top as well. And then I'm also gonna line the lash line. I'm gonna take my time here. I really don't want that going too low. I'm then gonna take a very small flat brush and I'm gonna go into Illicit, which is the black from the palette. I wanna make sure I'm connecting that to the liner and just making sure that that is nice and even. Right, I'm going to try the Ofra liquid liner again, and I want to extend the wing. Oh, see, there we go, now it decides to work. And connect it up down here. I'm going to go back to the face now, and my blush is going to be the L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush, which I adore. I wouldn't mind this shade of blush, but just a little bit more radiant. It's just quite matte, which I like sometimes, but then I feel like for summer I would like it a little bit more radiant. For my highlighter, I think I want something with a little bit of warmth, and all of my singles are quite cool toned mostly, or they're too dark for me. So I think I'm gonna go into my Soph palette. I know, it's such a state, but you know what? I think I'm on a mission to actually finish it off. I'm gonna take this shade up here and mix it in with the pink down here. Let's see. I could really do without having these spots right where I highlight as well. They're still here. Please go away. Yeah, I think that gives me what I want. I'm just gonna go and do my brows and lashes off camera, and then I'll be right back so that we can do the lips. I really felt like this look needed some super long wispy lashes. So of course I went for my Ivy lashes from By Libby Beauty because they're basically all I wear, but they're just so perfect for every look. I think I'm gonna go pink on the lips. I'm gonna go for the shade Dreamer from Maybelline. You can now get these on Beauty Bay, but this particular shade isn't on there. I don't know why. And then for gloss, I'm going to go in with the shade Confetti from Fenty Beauty. I don't know if they sell this one as a single because this one is from a set, but it's so perfect. Make sure you always wipe that before going back into the lip gloss, otherwise you're just going to contaminate the colour. And then I'm going to set everything in place with the Revolution Superfix Super Hold Misting Spray. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I hope as always that you like it. I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely love how it turned out. I do feel like I could wear this to like a festival or something, so it is again really getting me in the mood for summer. I feel like I keep saying that at the moment, but I feel like ever since the government has said like, okay, this is when things are going to start opening up, like time has just slowed down, and I'm like, please can it be summer already? I'm ready for sunshine. I'm ready for lunch and drinks in the pub. Can it come sooner? Just some quick final thoughts on the the palette. I do think that the quality is really good. I think they do work together really well. I had a slight issue with the purple, but I feel like that was probably my fault. Had I gone in with this shade down here, you can't see, had I gone in with this shade first, I would probably have been okay. As I said, I do just feel that when you look at this palette, some of the shades do feel like maybe a little bit close to each other. I mean, on camera actually I feel like you can see some differences, but still, like, I think they could have put some lighter shades in there. Overall, I do like it. I like the quality. I like the fact that it has just a whole spectrum of colors, a black and a white. It really has everything that you need. So for someone who's a makeup artist, or if you do just want to have one palette and you're happy with it just being mattes, if you like to have like singles and pigments separately, it's a great palette. It's super affordable, and if like me you can get it on sale because it's on sale all the time, it's just such a bargain. So guys, I do hope as always that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then do make sure that you give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment and letting me know what you thought of it, and if you haven't already, then do make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Bye guys!